Welcome to Bank on Me, the reality show that means business. Coming to you from Scotiabank, SkyMall Barbados. Your host, Alex Jordan.
Over the past weeks, the Bank on Me contestants have presented their challenges to the judges, and every week, the group becomes smaller. Last week, we said goodbye to Cindy Legault, whose Casting Barbados didn't make the grade in the Export Challenge.
Well, I will take the advice of the judges and concentrate on structure and keep on doing what we've been doing.
The remaining contestants, Torchworks, Adams Aqualife, Caribbean Villa Chefs, and Gold Coast Records, enjoyed an informative session at Scotiabank, where Michael Lord's presentation ensured they were well equipped for the Scotiabank Challenge.
What is a business plan?
I'm thinking of it as a blueprint basically for the business.
Does anyone else want to build on that?
A guideline with specific details and strategies on how to grow the business, expand, control costs, etc.
So it is essentially a plan for your business, as the name implies. It's the plan to help your business grow. We need to know that you've done the research. We need to see the research. We need to see the figures. Bear in mind that bankers and investors are numbers people. Second, we have the competition where we narrowed down from 12 to 6, where you were pitching your project to an international investor or a banker. We heard more about your product than we heard about relative to the financial aspect of the entity. So as we said earlier, you need a business plan to help structure your ideas, and to just put it all together, you want to start by writing your business plan using our free online business planning tool. I zoom in on the executive summary because the executive summary is one of the most important sections. It gives me a very detailed overview of what your business is. And there's several accountants across the island that are very devoted to small business owners. So the projections must make sense and take all factors like overheads in particular into consideration. Financial statements. These three are the major ones: the cash flow statement, income statement, and balance sheet. We normally ask for 3 to 5 year projections. How long have you been doing that?
I first saw fish in March 2011.
You're over 2 years, so you're considered mature. So our research has found that if you can make it over that 2-year threshold and continue in business, the chances are of you continuing on as a going concern is greater than if you never made it past the 2-year threshold, because most businesses fail within the first 24 months.
This was followed by sessions to assess the suitability of the companies for small business loans.
Okay, so you have any training in this area?
Yes, been a chef for 13 years, worked here in Barbados, trained in Miami, worked here at Sandy Lane, the Hilton, then I ran restaurants in Mustique, St. Lucia.
What has the experience been like in Barbados? The reception to the target market that you're looking at catering to?
Initially it was hard to get the name out there, but because we were trying to do it on one-on-one, but then when we went through the right channels, which would be the property management companies, that we realized we got more responses and more business opportunities from that. Then we launched a website, and that got a lot of hits, and now majority of our business comes through our website.
How do you intend to market the business, and on top of that, outside of the financing, how do you intend to grow the business as well?
I'm in discussions with CMC. CMC, the Caribbean Media Corporation, and their television station, Caribvision. They have rolled out Cricket World Cup on the CT20 cricket series. So what I'm hoping for them to do for me would be to do the pre-event regional marketing campaign.
Are there any other struggles that might be specific to the business or the industry?
Yes, I think it's inexperience in terms of that there's no one in the island you can go to for the expertise. And being the first people trying to get commercial tanks up, we are making all the mistakes and finding all the solutions too.
And I guess you're an expert in this field?
Yes, I've studied it. I went to school in Canada and did fish farming courses there. And I did my master's here at UE, which is more marine and coastal management. But then I went to St. Croix as well, because they built this system. So I went with them and trained under the person who built it.
So over the next 3 to 5 years, what direction do you see the business heading to?
Definitely going to be exporting within that period.
Any particular target area again for the exportation?
After researching the European market, I think that we have a very big market over there, that's true.
Don't rule out the Caribbean as an option. There are a lot of properties and villas, luxury properties in the Caribbean that people are always looking, interior designers are always looking to decorate. And your product fits perfectly for the high-end market, I do agree.
Our contestants have been working feverishly with their mentors all week, some of whom attended a presentation on networking presented by Cheryl Gittins.
So when we start off with thinking that networking is about getting to know people you can help, the law of reciprocity says that whatever you put out there does what? Comes back to you. So let's talk a little bit about the goals of networking. First word, to help. To help, to help, to help. Clients, businesses, and your community as well. So what is value? Value is, again, being able to help them beyond their business. Having a suggestion, thinking about that individual. Always be thinking about, who can I introduce Raj to that I know that can really give some information about design or intellectual property or whatever. Who can I introduce Cindy to? All right? Always be thinking about who you can introduce somebody to so you can expand their network. Be the person who connects other people by introducing other people. Be the person who is aware enough to keep other people outside of your industry in your network.
And another on social media, presented by Ricardo Redman.
Social networks really are online communities that develop and grow out of common interest. The thing about social networking, it's not in any way like traditional advertising. People think it is that way and people tend to approach it in that way, but you don't hard sell people in terms of when you're using social media and when you're social networking. It really is about, it really should be a network where there's common interest. So people who are in that network should be genuinely interested in what you're posting. Each interest group goes in a direction towards the information that it desires, or towards the group, towards the community. Whatever values they find there, each interest group goes that way. As business people, you really should be aware and be a part of a social network. Now, social networks are very much like meeting places in our communities. I always say they're much like the old market, the old traditional type market. The old traditional type market, you will go there to get everything from a haircut to buy a pair of shoes, to get your groceries. And in the old traditional market, everybody knew everybody.
Next, our competitors give their all in an attempt to make it through to the finals.
This week, the Scotiabank Challenge. Show a lender or investor that your business is viable and that you are a good risk in terms of a loan or investment. Write your business plan using the Scotiabank Business Plan Writer tool at barbados.scotiabank.com/small business.
Life is full of possibilities. They're out there, just waiting to be discovered. At Scotiabank, we believe in possibilities. For over 100 years, our customers have looked to us to help them uncover what's possible in life, in their finances, and in their future. Because when you believe that anything is possible, anything is. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
The winner of Bank on Me will receive a $15,000 cash prize from Scotiabank and rent-free premises in Satjay Bridgetown Centre worth $25,000, plus $10,000 in communication services from SFA Communications and $10,000 in advertising from Carib Vision, as well as a package of courses from the Cave Hill School of Business.
Now the preparation time has passed and it's time to present the pitch that will be their passport to the next and final round. Our judges are ready. David Nealons, Richard Haynes, Shelley Williams, And our guest judges this week are Scotiabank representative Michael Lord and Keith Miller, Managing Director of Miller Publishing and Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation Pillar Champion for Education and Talent Development. Contestants, let the Scotiabank Challenge begin.
In terms of projected sales, obviously the first year is the hardest year. That is the year that you are stocking the tanks with new fish as well as building. So you're going to have your lowest income in the first year. We will only have about 32 tons of tilapia for sale that year. And we probably will not have any crayfish because of the long breeding process and time to get them up to harvest size. So we're starting with about $250,000 of sales in the first year. And you will see that as the years go by, you're adding on more tanks, production is going up. So by the third year, you're over $2 million in sales, and the fourth year, you're at $2.7 million in sales. In terms of gross margin, the one for tilapia we've proven based on our production data on the previous tanks that we've harvested. We have a production cost of $6.65 per kilogram and a very high sale price of $12.65 per kilogram. And this is the one that Shorelines will guarantee us. And they're happy with this price on the current market and expect that it actually will get higher because of the demand for fresh products. If we look at net profits, obviously in the first year will be the hardest year because we have low sales. Our net profits will be about $89,000, and that's why we need to have a large working capital in the first year. By the second year, you're starting to bring in some profit, but we actually are going to be using some of the profit to do expansion in the second year. So if we didn't do that expansion, our profit figures would be higher. And the same thing in the third year, we're using some of the profit to do the expansion. So these are what is left over after you have done those buildings. And by the fourth year, you are completely done building and you'll be making just under $1 million in profit by the fourth year. In terms of the investment needed, I need $400,000. $120,000 is going to be put into building the actual units. This is the cost of the units in the first year only, which will be 1 tilapia unit, 2 crayfish units, and I added in a cost for improvements to the general farm area, which is things like electrical ports, things that only have to be done in the first year.
Have you researched regulations, for example, to export from Barbados into the EU? Would you like to describe to the panel?
Yes, I actually have put everything in place to qualify for those certifications. So I would have to get HACCP certification for the processing plant, which is Shorelines, as well as my business, as well as environmental certifications also give you the ability to get into certain niche markets, and my farm will qualify for all of those as well.
It was very nerve-wracking. It was a lot of work, honestly. The workshops are very informative, but you have such a short space of time to get your presentations done and get them in, so you're putting all your effort into it, and it's definitely nerve-wracking when you get in front of the judges.
Within the past few years, Gold Coast Records Incorporated has audited financials to prove that we have generated $2.2 million in sales, gross sales. Our aim is to expand our net revenue. We have done very well to sell large quantities of tickets, attract many sponsors, but we wish at this point to make this company a net revenue generating company. Our initial investment requirement is $600,000. That said, we have put over the years hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal investment into the company. We've used this to develop our website, develop our brands, stage events where we can use them as testing grounds to see if what we do in the future is indeed viable. This $600,000 will be disbursed as follows. $150,000 we're requiring as a loan. This loan we're hoping to pay back in the short term. We're going to utilize this loan to guarantee our headline acts. We're looking at international artist Nicki Minaj to headline Carib Fest. When you have secured and contracted your headliner, you use that name and that brand to get your sponsors on board. You use that name and your brand to get the broadcasters on board and get the licenses confirmed. So your revenue begins almost immediately. The other $450,000 we're looking to use to clear any and all debt associated with previous events and activities so that the investor comes into an arrangement which is unencumbered. So we believe that in the end, over $3 million can be generated through the various revenue streams of Carib Fest.
And I mean, equity investment of $450,000 is quite a substantial amount. Have you got people in mind? Have you got people lined up for this equity investment?
Yes, sir. Actually, when we first started Gold Coast Records, the first place we went was to the Enterprise Growth Fund Limited. And they valued the company at $1 million after only 8 months of operation, because we brought all of the audited financial statements from the bank and all of our transactions. Since then, we have had a reviewed valuation of $2 million.
As a banker, one of my main aims is to make sure that you're not underfunded, because that can just have a negative impact on your ability to repay any credit. And even though I might be a layperson to the music industry, as Richard said, it's very expensive. But as I look at the way you wish, the final disposition of the equity funds, to me it seems a bit like you're underfunded.
It was, for me, it was the most challenging of all of the weeks we've had so far, because basically when you're in the business of creating, and just last week we were busy creating, getting down to numbers and dealing with number crunching is very distinctly different. And so we had to focus then on preparing for today, which was, for me, very different.
Our primary focus for the first year is to continue performing our operations. But we want to drive revenues and profits a bit further, building customer relations and sales by networking with key persons who are across the West Coast and Sandy Lane areas. Now, our projected sales for 2014 are $55,000, around $55,000. We want to maintain a gross margin throughout of 54%. Now, the total investment for our operations we're looking at is $123,000. To have the full operations running smoothly, now we prefer to have about $86,000 in equity and $36,000 as a loan. Now, essentially, as a relatively new business, equity is more favorable than cash. We estimate our value for our last year to be around $30,000. But we estimate that once we get investment and everything falls into place, we estimate it to be around $170,000 by the end of next year. Online selling, we definitely need to put that in place for persons outside viewing our product. So we think that's a very crucial step as well.
Truthfully, you're far too modest. Far, far too modest. Shelley said it before and I'm going to reiterate it again. You've got a business valuation here that doesn't speak at all to your creative talent, and you should be putting something in for that. But the equity investment is really a crucial part of you making it.
Moving forward, when you do your business plan, I want you to take out that West Coast and Sandy Lane, because I want you to look at the affluent persons with homes across the island. Do you want to be seen when you're doing your art? Because I think the most spectacular thing is to actually watch you prepare something spectacular, and I think people will walk in.
So maybe you should think along the lines, do we need to pay rent for a location, or is there a location that would say, why don't you come and base yourself here,
right, because
we would like the people to come and see you.
Yeah, because this week it was crazier than any other week in terms of getting numbers together. None of us are accountants. None of us ever looked at the business from that point of view, so it was really, really seeing the business from a different point of view, basically.
In entering this competition, it's forced me to step outside my comfort zone, as you all can see. I'm most at home behind the stove serving guests. During our research over the last 4 challenges, we've realized that we need to there's a rough potential to expand within the region, those areas being St. Lucia, Antigua, St. Kitts. So what's missing from here is Grenada as well. And in the areas that we're already in, which will be St. Kitts and Grenada, we want to penetrate the market and offer a wider range of services than we do right now. This is our current summary of sales. Last year, we generated $169,000, and we had expenses of $100,000, leaving us with a gross with a net of $68,676, which was very surprising to me because I just click and deposit the checks. I never really checked the figures. So to see them on paper, was surprising. This is our current markets and services we offer. As you can see, there are blanks which we can fill by expansion, and by expanding, increase our profit and increase the range of services across the board. Therefore, We are asking an initial investment of $86,000. This would be used to penetrate the market. So we're going to penetrate the market, staggering entry into each country over a period of 3 years. Equity versus loan. We're open to have either or, but with the equity, with having the equity, we can form strategic alliances with those persons. Currently valued at $560,000. A net profit value was used. That basically is the current cash income versus the potential cash income over the 5-year period, and that's how they were able to value the company. I did my best to try and get to you.
Big at yourself, you know, because listen, imagine 4 weeks ago you didn't have one figure, didn't have any idea of what kind of money you were looking for, right? So at the end of the day, right, it was thorough, I think. I believe in your business, it's practical, it's real life, and you know, you did a good job.
Nervous is an understatement. I'm at home in the kitchen, so to stand up and present in front of the judges, unlike Christina, she got accustomed to it by week, but every week is the same thing for me. So I tried my best, had my points there, and tried to hit home what I needed to hit home.
Well, the tension is high as we wait to hear who will be the final 3.
I think we got a real good mix of candidates. We got 2 extremely confident and 2 who are not so confident. And truthfully, the ones who are not so confident have got as much chance as the 2 who are confident.
4 weeks ago, Dan didn't have a figure, right? So I think that the process, you know, he's evolved tremendously, and his figures were very comprehensive, right? I mean, I like the business. I think that he can hire somebody inevitably in the long run to be his PR person.
Let the figures speak for themselves. He has been in business for 2 years. Everybody that's been in business knows that they lose money the first maybe 2 years of their business, 1 to 2 years of the business, and he's made.
Yep.
I think we would all agree that Christina has the most comprehensive business plan out of all the contestants this week. It isn't perfect because there's some room in it for provision she spoke to alternative forms of energy, but didn't account for it in the business plan.
Seeing the guys for the first time as well, what struck me was the tilapia business clearly is established and is already happening.
Absolutely.
So she's probably the most established. Ronnie's is possibly the most ambitious. And then Torchworks and Caribbean Villa Chefs, what really struck me there, the presentations weren't the greatest because they're not accustomed to doing it.
No.
But in terms of potential, both had huge growth potential.
Now, how much money did because she has access in business, but what did she say that Christina say that she has made thus far?
She didn't report on the
she didn't report on her profit levels.
Existing. She just reported on what, she just painted a picture for us on what operations would look like after she's acquired the financing.
And it's a projected sales of a net of 89. So really and truly, tell you the truth, I can say that Dane is the only one who really is making money.
Making money. If I had to compare Torchworks to Ronnie's presentation today, I would have to give it to Torchworks. Reason being is that with some tweaking, the business has a lot of potential. However, with Ronnie's presentation, I didn't see that sustainable generation of revenue. I saw still rolling the dice and seeing if I get that big ticket, we win. If I don't, hey, we're in trouble.
Lots of money to make and lots of money to lose.
This document should be a lot better. 9 years, but he is still in the red.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Let's go now to our judges to get their verdict. First, our guest judge this week, Mr. Keith Miller.
First of all, I'd just like to say congratulations to everybody. I really enjoyed listening to all the presentations, And I wish you all very well in the future for your businesses.
Thank you.
And on this particular occasion, I would like to say congratulations and well done to Julia and Richard. You are through to the next round.
And now for our next finalist, we go to Scotiabank representative, Michael Lord.
Congratulations, Christina. Adams Aqualife. Christina, we all agreed that your business plan was very well thought out and very comprehensive, and it contained all the key elements a banker or a financer would be looking for if they wanted to invest in your business.
And now we go to Shelley Williams for some comments.
Dane, Ronnie, both of you guys have fantastic businesses, really, really innovative. Dane, your business works. I have to commend you for having, in 2 years, made a very good profit. And that tells me with a little investment, you can go a long way.
And now, to tell us who will be our third and final finalist, we go to our final judges, Richard Haynes and David Nealons.
Dane, as I told you, you have a good business, but you have to be confident in your business. Ronnie, your presentation, as usual, was spectacular, but some of the I's and the I's for the dots for the I's and the crosses for the T's, as related to the financial part of the package, was still a little bit loose.
I agree with what everybody has said, and I mean it's great that so many young entrepreneurs are really making a difference in Barbados. So whatever happens tonight or going on, you're going to carry on anyway. But at the end of the day, we got to get down to practicalities. This is bank on me. What are we going to determine at this point is the risk factor. What is the biggest risk factor? What is the outcome of what you're asking for? And I'm afraid we've had to make a decision. So Dane, you're in. And Ronnie, regrettably, you're out.
Well, there we have it, 3 finalists. Join us next week. Bank on me? Absolutely.
I had a very good time. I had a very great experience. I met a lot of fantastic people. And I think it was good exposure for what I'm going to do with CaribFest, having this broadcast across the region. So I think it's 100% positive, and I'm happy to have made it to the top 4. I was wondering if people would understand what I'm doing. The cultural industries, for all intents and purposes, is very new to the region, and what we do is very different. So I appreciate the fact that the judges saw in me what they were looking for to get me through from the top 30 into the top 12 into the top 6 down to the top 4. I really appreciate it. I think it was good foresight and vision on their part.